Hey, Patreon backers, we have a behind the scenes for you today on a few things. So we'll talk about this fan tester first. This has been kind of a back burner project for a while now. I've stopped giving like publication targets or deadlines on it because we don't really have one right now. It's just like an ongoing tinker project at this point. We'll get there eventually. So anyway, the anemometer before was just taped on. And the problem is these anemometers are extremely sensitive to the point that like if I have it here versus 10 millimeters in any direction, the results will be different. And it's a little more controlled than this with the diffusers in here, but it's still going to be highly variable. So Andrew designed this bracket in Blender. And when I talk about how we use Blender, that's an example. And it's pretty straightforward. We had it 3D printed, and basically there's this block that detaches completely. We drilled some holes through there, just nut and bolt through there to hold the anemometer in place. And it's completely secure. We actually took a rubber tube, so we had like a bike tire tube, and cut that up. Used that to just create a wedge to hold this in place so it won't move. And if we ever need to take the anemometer off to do like a one-off measurement on a case, this can stay on there. We take our measurement and then we can throw it back on the wind tunnel or the flow tester more appropriately when we're done. So it allows things to remain more consistent, which was the biggest issue I was running into aside from the PCB not working, which we've also now fixed. And the rest of the bracket, it's really tight tolerances. So this is extremely snug. Like you got to be kind of careful removing it, but it shouldn't be removed too often. So that pops off. And then this is the rest of it, which is just a single piece of 3D printed plastic. I forget the exact plastic we paid for, but it was the highest end plastic they had before going to metal. And plastic was the best choice because although I wanted to use metal, it was like $500 or $600, whereas this was like $180 for the whole thing. And that counts the expedited shipping, so that's pretty good. Two, this is easier to modify. So when we had to drill holes into this bracket, support bracket, that would have been very difficult with metal, especially that thick. So yeah, this fits pretty snug. It's snug enough that I'm a little concerned about removing it, but that's kind of the point. So there it is. So it's just a piece of plastic that was 3D printed from a Blender model, and Andrew took a pair of digital calipers and a ruler, took all the measurements, measured it out in such a way that when this is mounted, it's really tight on there, and then when it's fully socketed, this foot isn't covering the exit of the tunnel, which could cause turbulence. So that was one of the considerations. And then finally for this thing, if you haven't seen it before, it's an anemometer, it telescopes, but we designed it for this length. And then this end has a protective cap on it, so that's a thermocouple. We might need to get close-up B-roll, but that's a thermocouple for measuring the ambient temperature of the wind coming out. We need to control that. And then inside of here is an extremely fragile piece. So this wind vane hot wire, I don't remember the exact price, but it was expensive. It was like maybe $200 or something. And there's this tiny wire in there that actually measures the wind speed. So yeah, that's the really sensitive actual wind vane, like the measurement in there. The utility, the thing that will do the measuring, we cover it up when it's not in use. The rest of the wind tunnel's got, it has like these flow diffusers in it, and it's not really a wind tunnel in the technical sense of the word. It's a flow tester. I just say wind tunnel because I'm used to saying that, but it's a flow tester more appropriately. So anyway, that's kind of getting progress. I just need to find time to do the rest of it. But slow, small steps for this thing. Really not making a lot of fast progress on it, just iterative progress. The rest of this, I don't know that when or if this will turn into content, but we received this from one of you all a while ago and opened it during our stream. It's two 560s. It was a full water-blocked system, and they're really heavy. Like, these blocks are quality. It's thick copper in there. There's a CPU block that's got some gunk in it, so we're considering like doing a video on just like a refurbishing of this system, because it was cool at one point and it could be pretty sweet again. It's not going to be competitive anymore, but yeah, so it's got like an Extreme Series CPU in it. It's got full water blocks for everything. There was a VRM cooling solution as well, which actually is over here. So there's the VRM cooling solution for the chipsets and the voltage regulator, all cooled under blocks that had water running through them. Patrick's just been kind of cleaning it out as a side project, but we might do a video refurbishing this just because it would be kind of fun. I don't know how many views it would get, which is my main hesitation at this point, so no guarantee on content for that, but we might do it if we have some downtime between everything else. And then that's the board that came with it, I think. So yeah, that'll be it for that behind the scenes, I guess. Pretty quick one. Just wanted to show you some of the stuff we're working on. The system project might not do anything with it, or I don't know, could be a while from now. And then the flow tester will eventually get to some actual fan testing. So just trying to find the time. It's all in place though. Just a matter of actually validating the data once we get it to make sure we trust it. So that's it for this one. Thank you as always for subscribing on Patreon. I'll see you all next time.